Andrew Carnegie. I was born in Scotland, and I was extremely poor. I immigrated to America with my family to Pennsylvania, and we lived in a one-room house shared among other people. I started off as a telegraph messenger. I used to read the telegraphs that come in, and this way I started getting connections with people that I knew here, because many prosperous people worked in that field, or they were bosses, didn't actually work there. My telegraph services were very essential to the Union in the Civil War. I started investing mainly in, investing in different things like oil, but then I started investing into steel, and I came up with a way to mass produce the steel. And eventually JP Morgan bought out my steel company and made US Steel for $13.6 million, but who's coming? The steel was used for mainly railroads and steel buildings in America. I was also a great philanthropist. I wrote the Gospel of Wealth, which I pretty much wanted social Darwinism and saying that people that are wealthy enough should help other people.
John D.
I'm Johnny Rodsmiller. I created Standard Oil and I actually co-founded Standard Oil with my brother in 1870. I was crowned America's first billionaire. But none of that's really important, because the thing that matters is what I did with my money after I retired. I created foundations in the names of science, education, and medicine. I actually helped create a cure for yellow fever. I created schools like the University of Chicago and the University of Rockville.
Okay, so hi, I'm Isolationism, and Isolationism was adopted by the U.S. like during World War I and II, and we tried to stay out of all of the like chemical fires and everything, but that didn't work because we always ended up getting involved anyway. And basically, I just have an American flag up here and the rest of the world down here to represent that they are away from each other.
And let's remain isolated from Key West, Florida. That's an important place to stay away from.
Sorry, I had no other lectures.
I'm totally kidding. Okay, so isolationism should be followed by imperialism.
So, I'm a representative of American imperialism, and in the late 19th and the early 20th century, we saw America trying to spread out and get involved in the world. This was supposedly for our economic markets and to find new places to sell our goods, but in reality it was just because we wanted land like England had. So basically, in the Spanish-American War in 1898, we took control of Hawaii and Guam and Puerto Rico, and the Philippines for a very short time until 1904, when they sort of split away because of all the violence. Hawaii was one of the areas that we annexed, which we finally made a state in 1959. It was the last state we added to the Union. But we've also took control of some other areas, like the Northern Mariana Islands, which officially separated from Guam, but still remained part of U.S. control in 1975. And we also had the area known as the U.S. Virgin Islands, which we sort of borrowed, stole, took from Britain. It was a really hard time. The basic principle of it is that America is not immune to the ideas of imperialism. We spread across these oceans.
So, the Great Migration was a mass movement of African Americans from the agrarian South to the industrial North. And it happened kind of in two large sections, and those were from 1910 to 1930, and then from 1940 to 1970. And they were two industrial cities like Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis. And the reasons for this were that the cotton prices were down, there weren't that many workers in the North, so they needed workers, but there was an increase in manufacturing after the war, and then there was an increase in the violence of the KKK and the discrimination in the South, and also lynchings, which were terrifying to African Americans. And the migration led to better wages. You know, they weren't tenant farmers or sharecroppers anymore. They were getting real wages. They had more educational opportunities, and a better overall standard of living. I mean, we're able to bring their culture into the North, which led to things like the jazz movement and the Harlem Renaissance. And by the end, 40% of blacks lived in the North, and 80% of the blacks lived in cities overall.
McCarthyism.
Okay, so I'm McCarthyism, and basically what McCarthyism was the fear of the Red Scare, communism, yeah. And basically Joseph McCarthy was the internet of the 50s, telling everybody BS facts that they all tended to believe. So that was great. Alright.
I should have had Eleanor Roosevelt go before McCarthyism, although she is also a woman of the 50s, so.
I was First Lady to the 32nd President of the United States, which was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Since Franklin had polio, oftentimes I would go represent him at delegations. I would send memos back to the White House. I hosted brunches on the weekends. I invited normal people to the White House to find out what problems they were facing during the Depression and how I could help them. It was just like, unlike other First Ladies, I actually took an active role and I tried to help the people, and I was all for charity work. And after Franklin died, I became a United Nations delegate, and I helped in the drafting of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And I also demonstrated the competence of women to take on these big roles in society and in the right.